So I know it's been a while, but here's an update on the rebuild on a 94 Dodge Stealth. So a couple things. Last few months I've been ordering tons of parts and replacing, lots of cosmetic things, new dipstick tubes, new dipstick knob, cleaning everything up, putting them on, getting new clamps, cleaning up all the hoses, make it look nice and clean. Up here, bought a new insulator, new clips, so it looks nice. Mine was deteriorating a little bit, so it's nice and clean. Moved to the wheel well, got it painted. I put the struts in, so I put new factory ECS struts with Megan lowering springs. Cleaned it all up. New brake lines, so all flex. So managed to get all these parts from Rock Auto. These are from Mitsubishi. So I've been ordering quite a bit of parts from Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. They've been pretty good to deal with so far, but I didn't go with braided lines or anything like that because I want more of the factory look, even though I might actually road course this or do something with this car eventually, but I thought it was more important to keep it factory. New wheel bearings, pretty simple, straightforward to do. The problem was, so these are Raybestos wheel bearings, and of course they were stupid and didn't send us bolts to put the wheel bearing in. So these are the bolts that should be used with it. So it didn't send bolts, but Mitsubishi uses studs with nuts on them. So they don't have a head, they're just a stud that's in their wheel bearing just like this, and then you put a nut on it. So of course I can't use the factory nuts. So on the old wheel bearings, so that's been pain. So I've had to search around for good bolts like this. So I called them and complained, but I thought it was stupid in our situation. As well as everything's nicely painted. I replaced the ball joints. So these are Hyundai Sonata ball joints. They fit in perfectly. I didn't press them out. I had the lower control arms off. So I ended up just putting a socket on it, hammering them out through, and then turning it upside down, putting a socket on the back, pushing it in. They go in pretty straightforward. The clip that put on here is pretty tough to get on. You can use the snap ring pliers, but they don't actually work all that well because they don't move it out. So what I found was what you got to do is you got to put the snap ring down into the groove, put a pair of pliers on the end so it stops it from coming out of the groove, and just taking a flathead screwdriver and hitting around on the top, and it eventually just fall right in. So that might give people some problems, but that's essentially how I did it. And then of course I had to touch up the paint because the vice grips were in the paint. What else is going on down here? You can still buy all these parts from Mitsubishi, all the bolts. So I'm assuming they're zinc. The factory on this car, everything was zinc coated in the gold zinc, but all the parts that are coming from Mitsubishi now are not gold zinc. So it's kind of a little bit of a disappointment. I was hoping to get, even, the bolts. The bolts, the body mount bolts and everything. You can see they're kind of zinc, but they're just silvery zinc looking. So that's that. The tie rods, put new tie rods, painted them up. Got new boots for the the steering rack. Those are from Mitsubishi. I still got to get clamps and then get the special clamping tool to be able to clamp them down. I don't have one of those right now. And then put in new bushings. You can't really see them here, but I have one for the other side. right here. You know, you can still get this from Mitsubishi. So I put these new bushings in, makes it really nice and tight. So I'm hoping the suspension will be cleaned up quite a bit in this car. Underneath, I had a bit of a dent in my oil pan. So I ended up getting a new one, a new drain plug, nice and clean looking. Got the oil filter back on. So just put, you know, siliconed it on. Did a pretty good job. Looks nice and clean under here now, as you can see. So this is the other side. You can see I haven't put everything in yet. So I got the calipers hanging here. I haven't taken this one off yet until I get the other one back on, but I'm just going to paint them red again. This is the Duplicolor red. It held up pretty good for a few years, just the spray bomb. It's all right. So I'm just touching it up again, just scuff it down with 120 and doing it again. And then I have all new brake hardware, all the new pins and everything like that for the brakes. I haven't decided on what brakes I'm going to go put in this yet, but that's on the next order. Clutch is in, so it's in an XTD clutch. Straightforward to put in. You just use the clutch alignment tool. Sits in there, goes all in. So clean it up, rewrapped all the factory wiring, harnessed with just black electrical tape, bought yellow electrical tape, you can see that there, and put the yellow around wherever there was yellow on the factory. So you can see here a spot where I haven't cleaned up and done yet. You know, the yellow kind of looks all blah, so I'll clean all that up and just put new yellow tape around it. So, and there's the new, just kind of so it looks a little cleaner. And new lines, you can still buy all these from Mitsubishi. So, you know, new coolant lines for the turbos and whatnot. And then bolts, so you can see it's getting there.